Miss Olympia competition. There was a great robbery.
I had Hadi winning
I thought really Hadi won.
Overall, just the flow of the pose and the conditioning that gets brought out, especially through the midsection, I thought this was a clear pose for Hadi.
Hadi Choopan is an amazing athlete. He served everybody notice.
Would have probably picked Hadi.
I mean, I had Hadi winning it.
Hadi Choopan was an absolutely incredible competitor.
Hadi Choopan should have been crowned the Miss Olympia champion.
And let you guys know that guy right there, Hadi Choopan.
From 2023 to 2026, something kept happening on the Mr. Olympia stage.
Derek Lunsford! Samson Dauda! Derek Lunsford!
Derek won the Mr. Olympia. You have to respect that. The judges saw him as the winner.
Hadi is always in top condition.
Me personally, I would have probably picked Hadi or Andrew.
And the strange part is, nobody could clearly explain it. Hadi Choopan wasn't losing because he looked weak, and he wasn't getting outclassed in an obvious way. Every time he stepped on stage, he looked ready. Sharp condition, tight midsection, full control in every pose. The kind of physique that usually wins. But when the final results were announced, the title went somewhere else. Once, you can understand. Twice, maybe it's preference. But when the same kind of result keeps repeating against different athletes on different stages, it stops looking normal. It starts raising a question that nobody can ignore. Because this is not a story about a bodybuilder who couldn't reach the top. Hadi already proved he could win. This is a story about a bodybuilder who kept coming back at a level high enough to win and still kept falling just short. Not by a clear margin, not by a visible mistake, but in decisions where the difference never felt fully clear. So what actually decided those results? Was it size, structure, presentation, or something that isn't easy to see on stage? And if the comparisons were always close, then why did the outcome keep going in the same direction? To understand that, we don't just need one competition, we need the full story. And when you put all of it together, the real question becomes even more uncomfortable. Before all these close decisions, before the big stages and controversial results, Hadi Choopan's story started in a place where winning didn't even feel possible. He wasn't born into opportunity, and nothing around him suggested that he would one day stand among the best bodybuilders in the world. He grew up in a small city in Iran, in a life where working was more important than dreaming. While others had access to better gyms, better guidance, and better exposure, Hadi was building everything from almost nothing. No perfect conditions, no shortcuts, just time, effort, and patience. In the beginning, there was nothing special about him. No one was looking at him as a future champion. And maybe that's what makes this story different, because everything he became later was built slowly, piece by piece, without anyone expecting it. As the years passed, his physique started to change, but more importantly, his mindset became different. He didn't chase shortcuts, he focused on consistency. While others relied on size, he built his identity around conditioning, detail, and control. The kind of qualities that don't come fast, but once they are built, they don't easily disappear. But even when he was ready, the world still didn't see him. Visa issues, travel problems, and limited opportunities kept him away from the biggest stages. While other athletes were building their names globally, Hadi was stuck, improving in silence. And when he finally got the chance to step on the international stage, he didn't arrive as a beginner. He arrived already complete, already dangerous, and that's where things start to get interesting.
Hadi Choopan!
This is Hadi Choopan, his first time in the United States, and he is doing the open class.
Because from that moment on, one thing became clear. Hadi Choopan was not just here to compete, he was here to win. And once someone reaches that level, every result that comes after starts to matter more.
Hadi Choopan's journey on the Mr. Olympia stage didn't start with winning. It started with proving that he even belonged there. In 2019, when he finally made his debut in the men's open division, there were already questions around him. He didn't have the biggest structure, he wasn't the tallest athlete, and on paper, others looked more complete. But the moment he stood under the lights, those doubts started to disappear. He came in with extreme conditioning, sharp detail, and a level of control that instantly made him stand out. By the end of the night, he placed third in the world and also won the People's Champion Award.
He is so confident that he says, even if I weigh 212, I'll do the open and I'll show these guys what it is. It doesn't matter.
That wasn't just a good debut, that was a statement. But at the same time, it quietly introduced something important. Even at his best, he wasn't the one holding the title. In 2020, Hadi Choopan returned and placed fourth. In 2021, he climbed back to third again. Each year, there was no big drop, no inconsistency, always in the top. And that's where his identity started to form. Not just a competitor, but one of the most reliable physiques on stage. Every time he showed up, you already knew what you were going to get: conditioning, detail, and balance. No surprises. And in bodybuilding, that level of consistency usually leads to one thing: eventually winning. So by the time 2022 arrived, the expectation was no longer, can he compete? The question had changed to, can anyone actually beat him if he comes in at his best? And in 2022, he answered that question. On one of the most competitive Olympia stages in recent years, Hadi Choopan delivered a physique that left almost no room for doubt. His conditioning was on another level, his midsection was tight, and his detail was clear in every single pose. This time, there was no confusion, no debate strong enough to divide the audience. When the final result was announced, Hadi Choopan was crowned Mr. Olympia.
Hadi Choopan!
Becoming the first Iranian to ever win the title. After years of waiting, improving, and proving himself, he finally reached the top. And this is where the story should have become simple. A champion wins and then either dominates or slowly fades. But what happened next didn't follow that pattern, because after reaching his peak and proving he can be the best, the results that came after started telling a different story. A story where the level stayed the same, but the outcome didn't. And that's where the real question begins.
As the Mr. Olympia 2023 approached, everything looked clear on the surface. Hadi Choopan was the defending champion, and in bodybuilding, when a champion returns in the same condition, the result usually doesn't change. But this time, something felt different, because on the other side, there was Derek Lunsford. From the very first moment Derek stepped on stage, it was obvious this wasn't going to be easy. His structure looked wider, his frame opened up more, and his overall presence immediately caught attention. Even before the detailed comparisons began, you could already feel it. This was not going to be a simple title defense. This was a real fight. When prejudging started, both Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford were called straight into the center. That moment alone said everything. The judges already knew, the audience already knew. This show was going to be decided between these two. And as the comparisons began, the situation became even more interesting. From the back, Derek Lunsford looked bigger. His width, his depth, and the way his frame expanded gave him a visual advantage that was hard to ignore. But the moment they turned to the front, everything changed. Hadi Choopan's midsection looked tighter, his abs sharper, and his conditioning didn't drop even slightly. Every pose looked controlled, clean, and complete. Where Derek relied on structure, Hadi relied on precision.
He's going to be the most conditioned guy on stage.
And that's where the confusion started. This was not a one-sided comparison. These were two completely different physiques, both looking like winners, but in very different ways. Derek had size, structure, and presentation, while Hadi had conditioning, detail, and control. When both athletes are that close, the decision stops being obvious. It becomes a matter of preference. As the rounds continued, neither athlete clearly pulled ahead. There were no major mistakes, no visible weaknesses, just small differences, the kind of differences that are hard to judge, but somehow decide everything. Then came one more detail, Derek's vacuum pose. It wasn't a huge moment, but it changed his overall look. It made his physique appear cleaner, more structured, and more aesthetic. On a stage where margins are already small, even a small detail like that can shift attention. But even after all that, the gaps still didn't feel clear. And that's where the real tension was. Because when a competition is that close, you don't expect a clear reaction, you expect a divided one. And that's exactly what happened.
And new Olympia champion, Derek Lunsford.
I saw Hadi. For me, Hadi would have won that year. One more time.
I had Hadi winning the...
I thought really Hadi won.
When the final result was announced, Derek Lunsford took first place and Hadi Choopan finished in second. On paper, the decision could be explained. Size, structure, and presentation are all valid reasons, but the reaction told a different story. A large number of people didn't see a clear loss. They saw a close fight where Hadi's conditioning, control, and balance looked strong enough to win, not by a huge margin, but enough. And that's where the real story begins, because this was not just about losing the title, it was about how he lost it. Hadi Choopan's reaction made it even more intense. He walked off the stage shortly after the result. Some people called it disrespect, while others saw it as pure frustration. But if you look deeper, that moment wasn't just about emotion. It was the first sign that something didn't sit right. At that point, you could still say it was just one close decision. But what nobody knew at that time was, this was not going to be the last time this exact feeling would come back. Same level, same type of comparison, same kind of confusion again.
After the events of 2023, there was already a question in the air. Was that result really clear, or was it just preference? Hadi Choopan didn't answer that question with words, he answered it on stage. In early 2024, he stepped into the Arnold Classic, not against the same opponent, but against a completely different type of physique, Samson Dauda. Taller, bigger frame, more overall size, a look that, on paper, could easily overpower someone like Hadi. But when they stood side by side, something unexpected happened. The difference wasn't as big as people thought. In fact, in some poses, it went the other way. From the front, Hadi looked tighter, his midsection was locked in, his conditioning was sharper, and more importantly, it stayed consistent in every single pose. No fading, no drop. Samson had size, he had presence, he filled the stage, but Hadi controlled it. And as the comparisons continued, that control started to matter more. Because in bodybuilding, when two physiques are strong, the one with fewer weaknesses usually wins. And that's exactly what happened. When the final result was announced, Hadi Choopan took first place.
Of 2024 Arnold Classic champion, to our winner, Hadi Choopan!
It wasn't just a win, it was a response. And then he did it again at the Arnold Classic UK. Same opponent, same comparison, same result. Two different stages, same decision. At that point, something became very important. Now there was a clear reference. Hadi versus Samson had already been judged, and Hadi came out on top. So when both of them stepped on the Mr. Olympia 2024 stage later that year, the expectation felt clear. But this is where things started to change again.
As prejudging began, the same differences showed up. Samson's size, his structure, his overall frame gave him a powerful presence. And Hadi, once again, brought the same strengths: conditioning, detail, control. No drop, no weakness, no visible mistake. And that's what made it confusing. Because this wasn't a new comparison. We had already seen this before. Same athletes, same strengths, same differences. But this time, the result didn't follow the same direction.
When the final result was announced, Samson Dauda took first place and Hadi Choopan finished second.
Samson Dauda!
Good job, Samson.
And that's where the real question hit harder than before. What changed? Because the physiques didn't change in any drastic way. The strengths were already known. The comparison had already been established, and yet the outcome was different. Some people explained it through judging criteria: bigger frame, more stage presence, overall impact. And yes, those are valid reasons, but for many others, that explanation didn't feel complete, because just months earlier, under similar conditions, the same comparison had already gone in the opposite direction. So now the question was no longer about one result, it became about consistency. Because if the same matchup can give two completely different outcomes, then what is actually deciding the winner? At this point, it didn't feel like a coincidence anymore. Different stage, different title, but the same situation, where Hadi stands at the same level and somehow ends up just behind. And this is where the story shifts again, because now it's not just about losing, it's about a pattern starting to form.
As Mr. Olympia 2025 got closer, it didn't feel like a new competition. It felt like a continuation of something unfinished. The same rivalry, the same comparison, and the same questions still hanging in the air. Was the last result really right, or was something missed? This time, Hadi Choopan didn't just come back, he came improved. Sharper conditioning, tighter control, better balance. It was clear he had worked on every small detail. From the first moment he stepped on stage, there was no weakness to point out. Every pose looked complete. Every transition looked controlled. It felt like he came with one purpose: to remove all doubts. But standing next to him was Derek Lunsford, again. The same strengths, the same structure, the same wide frame that had already been rewarded before. And as the comparison started, something felt very familiar. In the back poses, Derek's width stood out, but in the front, Hadi's conditioning, his tight midsection, his detail, it was hard to ignore. Pose after pose, the battle stayed close, very close. Not the kind of comparison where one athlete clearly dominates, but the kind where every small detail matters. And that's exactly where the tension started building. Because this wasn't the first time people were seeing this matchup. The audience already had a memory of how this played out before. And when the same comparison happens again, people don't just watch, they compare. They expect consistency. They look for something different. But as the finals ended, nothing felt clearly decided. There was no moment where you could confidently say, "This is done." And that's what made everything heavier. Then the result was announced.
And the title of 2025, Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford.
In Miss Olympia competition, there was a great robbery. Hadi Choopan should have been crowned the Miss Olympia champion.
That the fans so adamantly speak out about on social media when, Hadi Choopan loses again. And let you guys know that that guy right there, Hadi Choopan, he's the winner.
Derek won the Mr. Olympia. You have to respect that. The judges saw him as the winner. Me personally, I would have probably picked Hadi or Andrew.
Derek Lunsford, first place. Hadi Choopan, second. And in that moment, it didn't feel like just a result, it felt like repetition. For some, it was a fair decision based on structure and presentation, but for many others, it felt like the same story playing out again. Because this time, Hadi had improved. He fixed what people said before. He brought a better version and still ended up in the same position. And that's where the real questions started to grow. Not about who won, but about why the result stayed the same. Because when an athlete comes better, stands equal, and still doesn't move forward, it stops feeling like just a close decision. It starts to feel like a pattern. And once a pattern appears, people stop asking what happened and start asking, is everything really being decided on stage, or is there something more behind it?
By the time 2026 arrived, this was no longer just about one competition or one opponent.
It had become a story people were already watching closely, not to see if Hadi Choopan could win, but to see what would happen to him next. Because at this point, the question had changed. It was no longer, is he good enough? Everyone already knew the answer to that. The real question was, even if he is good enough, will he actually be allowed to win again? At the Arnold Classic 2026, the stage looked different, but the feeling didn't. New names, new physiques, Andrew Jacked and Nick Walker, but the focus was still on Hadi, because now every result carried history behind it. When the comparisons started, Hadi looked exactly like people expected, sharp, controlled, and consistent, with no drop in conditioning and no visible weakness, the same level he had been bringing for years. But the competition was intense. Nick Walker brought dense muscle and raw power, while Andrew Jacked brought height, shape, and a completely different structure. On stage, it created a mix of physiques that were hard to compare directly, and once again, the outcome wasn't obvious. Especially when Hadi stood next to Nick Walker, the comparison raised immediate attention. Hadi looked tighter, more detailed, and more controlled, while Walker looked thicker, heavier, and more aggressive. It was the same kind of situation again, two different strengths with no clear weakness. And that's exactly where the tension came back, because people had seen this before. Not the same athletes, but the same situation, close comparisons, small differences, and results that could go either way. But now there was something else in the background, expectation, not of winning, but of placement. When the finals ended, the question wasn't just who won, it was where will Hadi land this time? Then the result was announced. Andrew Jacked took first place, Nick Walker second, and Hadi Choopan finished third. And this time, the reaction felt different. It wasn't just debate, it was confusion. Not about the winner, but about the placement. Because for many watching, Hadi didn't look like he dropped. He didn't look worse than before. He didn't look behind enough to fall to third. And that's what made this moment heavier than all the others. Because this wasn't about losing a title anymore. This was about losing position, from first to second to now third, without a clear drop in performance. And that's when the pattern stopped being subtle. Different athletes, different stages, different outcomes, but the same direction for Hadi, always just slightly behind. Shortly after, talks started, rumors about him stepping away, taking a break, and for the first time, it felt like maybe the question wasn't just about judging anymore. Maybe it was about how long someone can keep showing up at the same level and still not move forward. Because at this point, one final question remained. Not about one result, not about one rivalry, but about everything together. If nothing is clearly wrong, then why does it keep ending the same way?
At this point, it's no longer about one result, it's about everything together. When you look at each competition separately, every decision can be explained. Different physiques, different strengths, different judging preferences. That's how bodybuilding works. But when you step back and look at the full timeline, the story starts to feel different. From 2019 to 2026, Hadi Choopan never disappeared. He never dropped out of the top, he never came in out of shape, and every single time he stepped on stage, he brought the same thing: conditioning, control, and consistency. While other athletes had ups and downs, Hadi stayed the same: solid, reliable, always ready. In 2019, he placed top 3. In 2020, top 4. In 2021, back to top 3. In 2022, he wins the Mr. Olympia, and after that, he never leaves the top again. But here's where things start to feel different. After becoming champion, he didn't fall off. He didn't get worse. In fact, many would say he improved. More refined, more controlled, more complete. And still, the results slowly moved in one direction. First, second place, then again second place, and then third. Not because he looked out of shape, not because he was clearly beaten, but in close competitions again and again. And that's what creates the real question. Because when an athlete loses clearly, there's no debate. Everyone understands. But when an athlete keeps losing close decisions over and over again, people don't just accept it. They start comparing, they start remembering, and they start asking how many close losses can happen before it stops being coincidence. Some will say it's structure, some will say it's size, some will say it's presentation, and all of those are valid. But then another thought comes in, quietly. Why does the same type of physique keep getting rewarded over his? Is it preference? Is it judging style? Or is it something that fans don't fully see? Because Hadi's identity never changed. He didn't switch styles, he didn't gamble. He stayed consistent while everything around him kept changing. And maybe that consistency is what makes this story so uncomfortable. Because this is not a story of someone who couldn't win, this is a story of someone who already proved he can win and still kept falling just short again and again. So the question is no longer simple. It's not did he lose, it's whether he was truly beaten every time, or just never chosen. But there is one part of this story that makes everything even harder to ignore, and that's what was happening behind the scenes. Because Hadi Choopan was not just showing up in shape by accident. His journey was built step by step, starting back in 2002 with his first coach, Jamshid Ovji. Years later, in 2013, he moved forward with Ali Namadi, slowly improving, slowly building, but still far from the global stage. Everything changed in 2017 when he started working with one of the most respected coaches in bodybuilding, Hani Rambod. And that's where the real transformation began. Under Rambod's system, Hadi didn't just improve, he became complete. His conditioning reached another level, his control became sharper, and his physique finally matched the world stage. The results were immediate. He won the 2017 Olympia Amateur, and from that moment, his rise was no longer slow, it was unstoppable. But what made Hadi different wasn't just his coach, it was his discipline. His training was not random. He combined heavy strength days with high-volume hypertrophy work, focusing not just on size, but on control, the same control that later became his identity on stage. And when it came to diet, his approach was even stricter. Simple foods repeated daily. Chicken, rice, clean nutrition, not for weeks, but for years. Because for Hadi, conditioning was not something you fix at the end, it was something you build every single day. Even outside the stage, his presence kept growing. Through his connection with Rambod's Evogen brand and his massive social media following, Hadi became more than just a competitor. He became a global name, a former champion representing the sport on the biggest platforms. And that's what makes the question even deeper. Because this is not an athlete who lacks guidance, not someone who is experimenting, not someone who is inconsistent. This is someone with the right coach, the right system, the right discipline, doing everything the right way, and still ending up in the same position. So at that point, the question becomes unavoidable. If nothing is wrong behind the scenes, then why does the result keep going against him on stage?
In the end, this story doesn't give a clear answer. And maybe that's why people are still talking about it. Because if Hadi Choopan was clearly losing, no one would question anything. But that's not what happened. He kept showing up, kept improving, and kept standing next to the best in the world, never looking out of place. Sometimes he even looked better, and still the results stayed just out of reach. That's what makes this different. This is not a story about failure. This is not a story about someone who couldn't make it. This is a story about someone who made it, proved it, and then kept getting pushed just one step back. And the hardest part is, there's no clear moment you can point at and say, this is where it went wrong. Because nothing ever looked completely wrong. It was always close, always debatable, always just enough to question. And maybe that's the reality of bodybuilding at the highest level. When the margin becomes so small, the decision becomes something more than just muscle. Or maybe this is one of those stories where being the best is not always enough. So now the question is yours. When you look at all these moments together, when you see the same pattern repeat, Do you see fair decisions, or do you see something else? Because in the end, this story is not just about Hadi Choopan, it's about how you see the sport itself. And maybe that's where the real answer is hiding.